This week on the season premiere of The Real Housewives of Orange County.
Issue is here is that I have your ex-boyfriend. That's what the real issue is. So guess what? Move on.
Okay.
We're moving forward in this relationship. Like it? There's the door, Shannon Beador. I'm not talking anymore
Yo,
about
what
this.
is up, everybody, and welcome back. Listen, we are going to start the new season of The Real Housewives of Orange County. That's season 18. I have been anticipating this season for a while now. They're saying it's going to be a great season, and by this first episode, it looks like it will live up to that. So let's get started, you guys. Let's talk about this first amazing episode. Alright, so the episode begins with this cold intro of September 7th, 2023, when the reunion was being taped for last season, and Shannon was defending herself against accusations that her fellow co-stars were making about her excessive drinking, and Shannon was saying that they were all wrong. But then, 10 days later, is when we got the reports of Shannon being arrested for a DUI and causing a massive crash. We see in this intro Shannon showing Heather Dubrow a picture of her that night, and Shannon had a horrible, bloody face. It was shocking. And then we see some foreshadowing of how the women will deal with Shannon in this incident later this season. But then we started the actual episode seeing little clips of all the women doing their things in their homes and their families. The first actual scene is Tamra and Jen working out. Jen says that they are, working past their issues of last season, although I'm sure part of her knows not to really trust Tamra, kind of trust her as far as she can throw her. Emily is there as well. She is much more in shape. She says that it's a combination of Ozempic, lipo, and exercise. Tamra asks about Shannon, and Jen says that Shannon has been taking classes that she teaches for yoga, and they've really been connecting in the past few days. Jen does ask Tamra about the Tres Amigas tour fiasco, which, remember, that was Tamra, Vicki, and Shannon that were touring and whatnot, but then Tamra pulled out. Tamra says that she pulled out because of Shannon's DUI and because Shannon was still drinking. Y'all see, these are the type of friends y'all need to watch out for. These are the type of fake friends that you don't need. Then they talk about Alexis, and Emily explains that Alexis Bellino's ex-husband sued Shannon and Tamra a while ago. But Tamra is now an Alexis cheerleader, which is the joke of the century, and says that Alexis had nothing to do with the lawsuit, and Tamra was just so insensitive when it came to Shannon. I mean, saying things like, well, she almost killed herself and she almost killed her dog. It was bad. And I think you can clearly see that Tamara probably had no damn storyline, so she tried to leech onto Shannon's storyline by being her enemy now, which is ridiculous. Never liked Tamara, never will. Don't trust people like that. So then we see the queen of the show, Shannon storms Beador. So she's in a new house now because her daughters have all left. She's an empty nester, and she moved into this beautiful, smaller home, which is much closer to the beach. And all her girls are there. They're talking about college. One of her daughters has had the opportunity to travel around the world as part of her studies, so they're talking about that. That's super cool. But then she starts to cry, Shannon does, because she was supposed to go with her daughter to drop her to college that week when she got into the incident. So Shannon explains that night she was at John's house, and they fought, as they did a lot of times, and John said to her, "You're an effing drunk mess," and she wanted to sort of, show John that she was leaving the hell out of there, so she pressed on the gas super fast, it's very hard, and she totally lost control of the car. Shannon looked very remorseful, and I'm so glad that her three daughters were being so supportive. Her and John are over forever. The daughters say that he was literally an embarrassment for them, to be associated with him in any way, so they're glad that he's completely out of their lives. And then Shannon says that she is so surprised that certain friends of hers haven't reached out. And not only that, but now John is dating Alexis. She's very disappointed, but she says that she is done being punked around, and if someone does something wrong to her, she's gonna let it be known. Okay, so then we see Miss Fancy Pants, Heather Dubrow, which I am no fan of, but it is interesting to see her do rich people things. So she's with a group of people, her and her husband, who I'm not a fan of either, by the way, but they're doing just a bunch of, they have homes that they're buying, renting, just a lot of stuff. They basically have a place in every damn city of California. Heather also mentions that she's going to have a party, and she says that she wants everything to be nice this time, and she doesn't want a repeat of last year. So then we see Emily, who I know there's a lot of opinions about Emily. Y'all let me know what y'all think about Emily, because I actually like Emily Simpson. So she's in her house, they've been renovating it, and then Gina comes over. Gina has been working with one of the ex-housewives of the show, Emily, getting a property, and Gina says that Emily's brother told them that he saw Shannon at the store buying a whole bunch of booze. So, with Gina, as boring as she is, I'm not gonna get too mad at her for having sort of a who got the last laugh moment, only because as much as I do love Shannon, Shannon did throw Gina's DUI to her face a lot, even last season. So, given what has happened, you can't really blame Gina for saying, look at the tables now. So, she tells Emily that Shannon should go to rehab, and she probably spiraled that night. As far as Travis, her boyfriend, she's going through a little bit of a situation. So, Travis is still dealing with his ex wife, and Gina says that his ex wife is determined to make his life miserable. As far as Gina and her ex, they're good. Like, they've been co-parenting very well and everything's okay. But with Travis and his ex is a completely different story. Gina says that they can't really afford to move into a bigger house. And just with all of this stuff happening, she thinks that the best decision for them is to live separately for now. And then she starts to cry. So we'll see what happens with that. The next scene is Jennifer and Ryan at this nice restaurant. Jen and her family had to move out from the home that they were in last season because it was sold by the owner. So then Gina was able to help Jen get a new home, because remember, Gina's now a real estate agent. But Jen got evicted, you guys. She couldn't follow through with the payments because Jennifer's divorce is still not final and the finances haven't been sorted out. So she's been having a hard time. She says that the yoga studio doesn't pay her that much. Her he's had to been helping her, and I did feel bad for her in that moment because she was like venting about it's just such a hard time. Ryan suggests that the family move in with him. Jen says, but like, what if something bad happens? And Ryan tells her, don't think of the worst case scenario, just go with the flow. All right, so in the next scene, Heather goes to a dinner with Emily and Alexis. Alexis walking around like she owns the damn OC. Heather apparently is very close to her. Then they ask her, oh, can we see the ring that John gave you? And as she's explaining how her and John met, I almost threw up. Apparently they met at some restaurant, which, by the way, Shannon is kind of known for that restaurant. But she was at that restaurant, she met John, and she says that they just knew that they were meant to be. But you guys, Alexis came in on a 10 because she jumped down Emily's throat over something Emily said on a podcast about John being a douchebag. Alexis says, how do you know that? You don't know that? Who told you that? And Emily says, I lived it. I seen it. What are you talking about? Plus all the things Shannon told me about him. And then Alexis says, are you really going to take the word of some drunk who just ran into a house? Then she begins to say that, oh, they need to give John a chance because he's such a good guy. I was just like, girl, bye. How you going to ask Emily, who Emily has witnessed how bad of a guy John is, give him a chance? Give him a chance? You crazy. So then Shannon goes to see her lawyer. He's telling her that she was sentenced to 3 years probation, and if she can complete her probation, she can eventually get this off her record. Shannon will be doing alcohol school for 9 months and 40 hours of community service hours. Shannon is very shaken by this because she's never gotten arrested, never gotten a ticket, never been charged, never driven while drunk, never broken a bone, and all that happened in 10 minutes. That's crazy, isn't it? So she's embarrassed because she's always said that the dumbest thing anyone could do is get a DUI. But, the lawyer says that this will hopefully help bring awareness to people. Then we see Tamra and her daughter. This isn't the one who doesn't talk to her. This is her youngest daughter. She takes her to go get tattoo, which I would never, but that's because I'm anti-tattoo. But Tamra also went to go get herself a tattoo. She gets 111 on her wrist, and she says that it represents her children, and she says that her wish is that her daughter, who doesn't like her, can come back to her one day. Then we see Gina and Travis have the conversation about Travis moving out and finding a home of his own. It's a decision that is clearly not what they want to do, but Gina keeps saying that that is what is best for the kids. I don't really understand why, and I do think Travis is very hurt by this. Like, if you saw him in this scene, he didn't really have much to say, and I could tell that he was very hurt, and I don't think he wants to do this. But Gina does say that this isn't a breakup, and it's just a process. So then it is another day, and it is Heather's party. Shannon was thinking about not going, but she decided to go. So we see all of them get ready. Gina takes her friend Katie, who we are introduced. She's going to be the new housewife this season. Katie is very good friends with Sutton Strack from Beverly Hills. She's 39, which is a little on the younger side, given how old housewives are. Also, Alexis rode in the car with Emily, and she kept talking about being up all night because of all the sex she was having. Okay. So, you guys, it is very clear that Katie and Heather Dubrow will have a problem this season because once they were all, everyone was arriving to the party, Katie and Heather say hi to each other. And in her confessional, Katie says, I've seen Heather before. It's good that she actually said hey back to me this time. I was like, oh. Also, apparently Gina and Jen are having some problems now. So Gina kept getting CC'd on the emails about Jen being behind on her rent. I don't know if that's really a reason to be mad at someone, but then again, it's Gina. She's crazy. Also, Emily had a lunch with Shannon the other day the day before the party, actually. And she's telling the girls that Shannon told her that she has a 2-drink max. So she'll only drink 2 drinks. And then Tamra's wicked ass says, per hour? But everybody is anticipating Shannon. And she's the last one to arrive. And she's just going to own the fact that she is the moment. So Shannon walked on in, took some photos on that 360 photo thing, said hi to Emily, Gina, Katie. Meanwhile, Alexis and Tamra were like in some corner. Gina says that she feels bad for the situation that Shannon is in right now. She's referring to Alexis. Shannon says, don't worry about it. My biggest embarrassment that I could have ever had was this DUI, so this is nothing. And she also apologizes to Gina. Now, do I think it was like I don't have no one else to talk to, so I'm going to apologize like Wendy did with Mia? Yes, I do. But Gina really did appreciate it, and Gina says that Shannon looks great. She also thinks that the whole Alexis thing is really messed up, and Shannon says, should I just go up to her and talk to her? And Gina says, yeah, if you want. So Shannon, she gives no F, so she goes up to Alexis and says, you want to go talk? So they go outside to talk. Everybody's looking out the window. So the main thing that Shannon wants to say to this chick is that she's very upset that Alexis started that lawsuit with Alexis's ex-husband because it really took a toll on Shannon. She lost $300,000 defending herself on something that she didn't do. She says that she could be in a room with Alexis, but she doesn't want to be buddies. And then Alexis says, well, I know this is uncomfortable for both of us because you're the ex and I'm the new. Alexis says that she was not in the lawsuit because her and her husband had been divorced for 6 months. Then Shannon was about to say something and Alexis says, no, I'm talking, okay? I didn't interrupt you. Shannon says, okay, we're getting a little angry. Shannon says that Tamra and her they received a cease and desist letter signed by Alexis. So she did start it. Alexis then says, move on. Shannon says, that's a lot of money to lose. I'm not just going to move on because I lost $300,000. You're going to give it to me? Alexis says, the real issue is that I have your ex-boyfriend. Move on. You're never going to get $1 from me. And if you don't like it, there's the door, Shannon Beador. Shannon says, I'm happy that John's with you. If that's what it is, I'm glad you took him from me. And then Alexis leaves and she screams, I'm glad he left you. And that's where the episode ended. Wow, you guys. This is reality TV. This is reality TV gold. You don't get this nowhere else. But in all sincerity, I do feel bad for Shannon. I really don't like when people get DUIs. I think it's extremely reckless and you can put people's lives at risk. But what I do appreciate is when so you did it, but I do appreciate you taking some accountability and trying to fix that mistake, which I hope that Grand Dame does back in Potomac. But yeah, Shannon is clearly trying to fix her wrong. This whole Alexis thing is really messed up. Tamara, I don't even want to talk about her because she's a horrible person, you guys. Scum of the earth, horrible. But yeah, what did y'all think about this season premiere? Did y'all think it was good? I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. But let me know what y'all thought about the premiere, about seeing the ladies back, about seeing Alexis back. Let me know Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all next time. You have a great one. Bye.